Hi, welcome to Seattle. I'm here to tell you a little bit about Mercent, product information management, and how our product development relates to it. I want to walk through product information management itself and the three challenges that come with it, as well as some Mercent solutions: taxonomy mapping, attribute mapping, data twisting, and then close it all off with the hierarchy of online retail. First, a little bit about myself. I'm Paul Connors. I'm Director of Product and Strategy for Mercent. Local Seattleites, so welcome to Seattle if you're here for the first time. Mercent is based here as well, so I hope you're enjoying some of the local refreshments we have off to the side here. Mercent itself likes to advertise itself as offering the 3-2-1 of retail solutions. We offer three things. We make you visible, competitive, and profitable. We do that two ways. We do that through our award-winning software as a service platform, and also through our in-house team of data experts, Mercent Performance. Product information management itself has three challenges, and there is a more buzzworthy term now called PIM, or PIM, for product information management. This is actually what Mercent has been doing for about 8 years. As you can see, the blue circle in the center here represents you. This is all your retail data, and then all of the surrounding channels are the places where you need to get your data in order to perform. Those channels include Google, Amazon, Bing, now Pinterest, the Find, etc. So all of these different arrows actually contain some different product information. Now, the first challenge of product information management is that all of these different channels have their own language, their own nuances about the information that they want from you. Amazon wants to know your specific Amazon ID, your ASIN. eBay wants to know whether you call your product specifically a moccasin or a slipper. And you're down here and you just basically want to sell your product. It doesn't have to be this complicated to you, but there's no getting around it. It is with all these channels. And that's why product information management is so important. It's about your marketplace channels, and more it's about Google and referral channels to get your product information out there. So the first challenge of product information management is taxonomy mapping. Most of the channels have their own taxonomy or Dewey Decimal System to say, if your product is this, it belongs in this category, so we know how to treat it. You have to get that taxonomy right, because if you get the taxonomy wrong, your product won't list, or even worse, if your product lists, it could list in a category where no one will ever find it. And that's the example here of this Timberland boot down in the women's dress section. And your product listed fine, you're wondering why no one buys it. It's because it's in women's dresses. So it's kind of an insidious problem if you're able to list but with the wrong taxonomy category. So what we've developed is the Mercent Taxonomy. And this is a normalized taxonomy that we can apply out to all the different online channels. We map the Mercent Taxonomy to 14 leading online channels. And it's not binding. So this is a tool that you can use to map once to the Mercent Taxonomy. However, you are not restricted to that. You're able to also go back and map in another way if you'd wish to that channel. So the grayed out channel logos here demonstrate all the different channels that we have the Mercent Taxonomy mapped to. One thing you'll notice is that Amazon is not among these channels, and that's because we have a little bit different mapping process with Amazon. But the Mercent Taxonomy is huge. It's almost 34,000 categories, and it's that large to make sure that we can get all the way down to the lowest level of taxonomy across all of these channels. This very zoomed out picture of a screenshot of Mercent Retail is our taxonomy mapping tool. So all of the different squares you can see down here are where you would select a taxonomy to map to. It used to be that as you launched on every channel, you'd go ahead and have to map your taxonomy to each of those independent channels. With the Mercent Taxonomy now, you can map once to it, cover 14 of those channels. It really takes a lot of the setup work out of launching on an additional channel. The second challenge of product information management is attribute mapping. You know that your product is extra large, but depending on the channel, they might have a different terminology. And depending on whether they enumerate the specific value that you have to use for that size, Sears might tell you, I have no idea what XXL is. It has to be 2XL for it to work on this channel. So you have to work with the channel to make sure that your values for how you represent the size are the same as what they would use. So the frustration here for the same shoe seller is, it's the exact same thing. Why won't my product list? Because he has to have an exact match to that channel size. So Mercent's solution to the second challenge is Mercent attribute mapping. We go ahead and pull in all the valid attribute values from each channel and then present you with them where you're matched up and where you're not, so that you can make an informed decision about a required or recommended value. If you don't match up, we do have a channel error resolution tool that allows you to see where you have problems and to go back and address them. This is a screenshot of the Mercent attribute mapping tool. In this particular case, we have a client who is trying to get some goods to the Sears marketplace. And as you can see here, their size that they've demonstrated for these products is XLT, extra large twin, for a size of bed sheet or bed cover. But what's interesting, and what Mercent Retail will tell you, these are all corrected now, so they're black, but the excess below that is not corrected yet. It shows up in red, but it tells you that across 3 different product categories, this particular channel has 3 different values for what extra large twin should be. One of which, or extra long twin, pardon me, is. One of them is spelled out extra long twin. One is twin X dash long. One is twin/twin X long. So you can see how difficult this is to do manually, to understand all of the valid values you have to match up with not just one channel, but again, 15 to 20 channels that you want to get your product information on to maximize your revenues. The third challenge of product information management is data twisting. Data twisting in its simplest format are the drop downs that you see when you go to shop on an online site. So in this case, on the left is a Timberland boot on Amazon, and you can see that it's set up to vary by size and color. On the right is an eBay product offer for the same boot. They only want to vary by size in that case. So you need the ability to say, here are my products, and they are all grouped under a particular color and just by size for eBay, where on Amazon, you're going to be able to vary that boot by size and color in the same product offer. So Mercent Data Twister has been developed to solve this third challenge of information management. It allows you to see how your products vary in the product catalog. It uses data from the channel, again, just like with attribute mapping, to tell you what the valid variation patterns are for that channel. And then it also is going to establish a variation channel based on the information from the channel, so that your products are set up perfectly to go to that channel. Coming soon, and not quite done yet, is the ability to step in and edit those away from what we set automatically if you need to. So a classic case in data twisting is bras, where some will be measured in terms of size and color. Some will be measured based on band size, cup size, color. So these different drop downs by which you can vary your product groups are going to change from one channel to another. If your catalog is set up to only vary your products under a parent product that has all this product information, you're going to be stuck with picking one channel or the other until you can change that information on a per channel basis. So Mercent Data Twister, the first step of it is here in the product catalog. And this is very small, I know, but on the left, we're telling you what the parent is for this product, for each of your products. And then in the second column with the red circle, we're telling you what the role of that product is, whether it's a parent or a child, or we call it a family or a variation. And then over here in the second to the right is how the product is set up to vary for the parent product. In this case, it's set up to vary in a pretty standard fashion by color and size. So the first step of Data Twister is visibility into how your products work. The next step is that if you are sending products, in this case we're sending them to Amazon, you can see indicated in the drop-down, then you can enable Data Twister, and Data Twister will go out, create a new parent product if necessary, so that your product variations will list as Amazon needs them to with the drop-downs that are allowed. We'll allow this for Amazon, we'll allow this for eBay, we'll allow it for Sears, we'll allow it for Rakuten. Basically the marketplace channels where they're going to take the order based on the variations. In the near future, we may see Google doing this with their product listings as well. So product information management, the 3 big challenges there: taxonomy mapping, attribute mapping, and data twisting. And if there are any psychology majors out here, Are there any psychology majors nearby? You might remember Maslow and the hierarchy of needs. The very base of the hierarchy of needs are breathing, heartbeat, and then as these very basic needs are fulfilled, you move higher and higher up through the triangle to the more finesse parts of life and eventually self-actualization. Well, we're trying to apply this concept to retail. The online retail hierarchy of needs, a little bit simpler, but the very first thing is being visible, having your products listed. If your products aren't listed and in the place where people expect to find them, then you're not going to sell anything no matter what optimization you perform. So all the tools listed here, taxonomy mapping, attribute mapping, and data twister, are focused at this lowest level of the online hierarchy of needs. Mercent has multiple solutions in terms of being competitive and profitable. You'll be hearing more about those later in the show. Just a quick recap. Product information management is getting more and more complicated. You're able to use your product information across more and more channels, but those channels all have different requirements. You have to know and understand them to be successful there. Taxonomy mapping tools can help you be efficient in staying in step with the channel and launch on new channels quickly and efficiently. Attribute mapping can inform you as to the required or recommended values you need as you go to channels. And then different variation patterns require variation twister to get you out to those channels in the way that you need to. The base of the online retail hierarchy of needs is the visibility. And with these three tools that Mercent's put together, you have a much better chance of having your products visible as the first step toward being visible, competitive, and profitable. Again, I'm Paul Connors, Director of Product and Strategy for Mercent. I hope you have a great time in Seattle during the show, and thank you for your time.